everyone, and welcome back to War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. We are wrapping up May today. Hey, we captured something. I didn't notice what it was, but anyway, making progress here as we get get closer. Ooh, we're getting closer to the. Ooh, there's the base right there. We're getting closer to the middle of the year. Uh, Hey, that's fine. I was trying to get around his sub, but he might have had a reaction to come over here, and hopefully they let us just continue on without any problems. And instead, we torpedo one of his ships. It's got to be it got to be frustrating. We didn't sink it, so it's. I mean, I guess no need to rush to conclusions, but if it doesn't sink, it looks like it's close to an island. It can just um, put to and then maybe do a little localized repairs. Ooh, finding some Japanese shipping. I need these. I need our air units to knock out these subs. Like there's ones here. Oh man, and there's ones here, and we have ASW assets. So come on, guys, get to work. Really need some anti-air assets. Got them coming, but they're just too far away. Look at that, 10,000 feet. We might be able to reach them. And these are even lower, I think. 8,000. Which, hey, if you stay at 8,000 and we bring in our Bofors or whatever we got coming, might be pretty dangerous. We did have fighters flying sweeps here, but apparently not enough. I'm okay bombing as often as possible to hopefully damage the supplies at these bases. So because I was gonna say, we could always take a break and let them repair up a little bit, but also this hits supplies. Let's see, every so often we cause some damage, and it adds up. All right, now we're bombing the troops because he could try some kind of shock attack against our tanks and swarm them. So I just want to make sure that's not going to happen. And we'll probably bomb one more day. And then our ground troops the infantry will be in that hex shortly after. All right, we're attacking some subs, if nothing else. I don't know how to know that we even hit. I mean, I guess we can. There's the sweep. I guess we can listen for sinking sounds, but what are the odds that we hit and that if we hit, we um, did enough damage to sink it? But hey, if we see the sub disappear, maybe we at least made it have to go back for repairs. Whoa, that's a huge, I mean, I think it's huge. Fuel cargo. Wow. That thing might just blow up, blow itself up. One torpedo hit and it just, like, just blew up. 4 torpedoes. I, yeah, there. That's probably that ship. It says heavy fires. I mean, it got a torpedo and then the fuel cargo exploded, so yeah. All right, as we come to the end of this day, the month, we'll see if we get reinforcements, which hopefully we do. And I'm gonna jump into kind of a brief overview and update. All right, escort carrier, nice. All right, this is a good turn to talk about things anyway because of the activity that happened. We occupied Allure and we got some reinforcements coming from East Africa. All right, a lot of ASW action. Um, okay, some renamings, which I don't know that I mean, it's like whatever. For historical flavor, that's cool. We got some crashing on the Enterprise. Okay, let's just look at this here. Supplies. Okay. Looking at this, we've got, okay, PBY5 replacements. All right. Chinese, okay, accelerated pilots. Okay. All right. So Eastern changed. We got some troops changed. First Army tank. Yeah, okay, that's right. We've got a lot of disbands. Now, I don't know if these disband and give me the equipment back, but I moved them back to major bases because I was reading that if they disband at a major base, oh, either like a capital or a base with over 100,000 supplies, then you get your equipment back. I don't know if that's going to happen here. I don't know if that's when you manually disband or if it's like this. So it's not a big deal if not, but I just moved them to bases so that I could take advantage, but who knows. And some of these just withdraw to theater and some disband, so I don't know. But we did get another escort carrier. We lost this, almost, 6 months ago or so, and this light cargo ship. We did get the rest of this torpedo squadron, and then we got some. These are reinforcements. These VBs. These are also reinforcements. Number 40 Squadron RNZAF. And then these two, I believe, are bombers transferring from eastern United States to Seattle. And then I'm going to try to loop them around to a proper theater where they can be active. Okay, let's go ahead and quickly take a look at losses just to check. 6-2. Yeah. I'm not surprised that we're losing more than them, but he loses a couple topsies. I'm still long range capping just to keep him honest. Of course, that puts a strain on my aircraft and the pilots. But we didn't lose any of those. We're just losing these miscellaneous cargo planes for sure. A couple of carrier aircraft as well. And did we lose any pilots? Unfortunately, two. That's a shame. Man, I hate that. Okay, so we don't know. We sank at least one ship. We don't know which one it is, and the Japanese are not going to let us know. That's fine. Okay, there's not a lot to. So let's take a look before I say much and chase you away with some rambling. Let's look at what's coming this month. Now, those of you who play this game yourself, you probably know all these things, and maybe you care, maybe you don't. But here's what the situation is. So it looks like we're going to be getting these PR2s, but I was looking. These are for reconnaissance, but I was looking, and we only get them in June. So we're going to get two of these, and then boom, they're going to go away. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then this is the same situation where we're going to get six of these Dorniers this month, and then that's it. And the Canadians want a few of these C-47s, but they're only going to get for 3 months. PV1 Ventura. This is going to last for a year. That'll be nice. I'm looking forward to getting some of these squadrons to the front in various probably ASW, but we'll see. B25G. So these are going to be only 2 months, well, 3 months total, June, July, August. So we'll only get 75 of these, but these are being produced in conjunction with the B25D one, and that's okay because these are going to be supplementary, and I don't know, we might put them in some units, but then it won't be long before we just switch right on to the B25. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know when we get the next B25 upgrade. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about this month. Which by the way, June is a month for upgrades of ships, so that's gonna be crazy. Okay, P38H. Pretty soon the Gs will go out of stock, out of production, and this will go from 20 to 40. So we'll be making 40 of these P38Hs a month, and this will last for 6 months total, I guess, if you count June all the way through November. That's 6 months, and then we'll upgrade to the J. But in the meantime, we'll get basically roughly 240 of these aircraft, these P-38Hs. And these are, I like to look at these aircraft as they compare to the prior version. And these are a little better, not a whole lot. And then the P-39 and 1, I mean, these will be starting to produce. Um, 35 a month. It's not, it's not, um, oh, well, let's see. We're going to have these for 7 months, but these aren't really I guess we can use them as interceptors, but I really don't use well, I'll just say I don't really use these a lot because he's not very aggressive. If he was bombing our fields, I could use these to intercept him. And these would be great with a 37 millimeter cannon, shoot down bombers very effectively. But also, these would be really good for like tank busters. But I just don't. There's not a real major need for them, at least where I have them. Maybe I need to start thinking about where I can put them. And then we got a Soviet aircraft. We'll be making a bunch of those. But that's kind of moot because we got a long ways before they'll be used ever, if ever. And then we've got some float planes. This is only going to be 2 months worth. So really, this whole month is almost the whole month is just a bunch of short-term upgrades, and this is only going to be what 2 months, so we get 8 of these. So a couple of ships will be happy to have these upgrades, but really it's not going to really impact the war that much. Okay, that said, we just got an escort carrier, and we can look real quick here and see what, just kind of get a rough idea of what we're going to get this month. So we get another escort carrier, another one, and cruisers to escort them, hopefully, destroyers. I'm liking repair vessels, repair tenders. They seem to have a lot of value. I've put them to good use, maybe not optimal use, but I like them. All right, we've got a lot of ships coming in 2 weeks. And then, ooh, light carrier Independence. I don't know if we have a U.S. light carrier yet. This might be our first one. So that'll be cool to get out here, put into action. And that's about it. That's what June looks like. But now, do we have any withdrawals in June? Well, nope. We do have one in July and so on, but July 27. And then ground reinforcements. What do we got in the next month? So mostly engineers. I got an HQ. Okay, that'll be interesting. That's going to Pacific Ocean areas. All right, infantry division. See, I don't like these infantry division. They're locked down, and I have to buy them out. It costs a lot of stuff. What do I want to say? Costs a lot of political points, but that's in 2 weeks. Actually, maybe I should save up my political points and buy this out as soon as it gets out here. But unless it's unbuyable, I'll have to watch for that. And then yeah, we got a few things coming this month. But as the month wraps up, we'll just get a convoy with some British equipment. I'm gonna kind of end there. So that's that. I guess one more thing then is just to kind of cover some strategic stuff, which I kind of cover every time I talk about this. I talk about maybe near future, but I kind of tell you where I'm at, and you may already know this with some of the daily upload. I mean the videos, recent videos, but if you don't know, the American um, units have just arrived. Yeah, here it is. Uh, the 7th Infantry has just arrived with some tanks. We're going to unload here at Macon. We've got a lot of naval support. We're going to use this base to launch because of that. For some reason, I took all the naval support out of Tarawa for some crazy reason. So we can use Macon. They have the same port capacity, so really it shouldn't matter. So, but the naval support will be huge for loading, I believe anyway, for loading back up and getting ready to go. So we'll launch up here and hit Kwajalein probably within a week. 2 at the latest. Just depends on how quickly we can get unloaded, get in combat mode, so we can do amphibious attacks and get down this disruption. Then we'll launch our invasion. Subsequent invasions will happen after that, but first I want to lock down Kwajalein, and then I'd feel a lot and have some I mean, we already have float planes flying all out here, but if we could advance from Macon, place some float planes up here, and push out a little bit more, that would make me feel a lot more comfortable. We could secure the rest of these anytime, at our leisure, but we could also eventually, hopefully, launch up to any Eniwetok. He's running around here, it looks like, trying to chase out our subs, but we're pretty locked down there. Um, we are so close to invading Wewag. That's just a matter of like 1 or 2 days, I think. But I'm gonna, I want to make sure I have um, my ducks in a row first. But I think, like I say, I think 1 or 2 days, because when I hit this, I want to hit it hard, where we're not sitting here coming in waves and leave ourselves vulnerable for a quick KB strike. In other words, I want to do one massive invasion so that if he reacts to it, hopefully we've unloaded and we're ready to go. I don't want to be with the waves thing. I feel like he would catch us with a second or third wave and sink a bunch of our ships. We are marching up New Ireland, so Kavieng should be a few days from capture as well. These are advancing a little bit faster than the rest, which is okay by me, but the rest of these are not too far behind. But they have to march up this slow jungle road. I'm probably, just for purposes of um, minimizing my casualties, I'll probably wait till everything gets there and then just hammer it in one blow. We probably could anyway take it with what's coming up here, but we're not in a rush to take this. I'd just as soon do it with what am I trying to say? I'd just soon do it with a good yeah, a good punch with some artillery and combat engineers. Make sure we clean it up. One good attack instead of one bad attack that takes it. And we've pretty much cut this off. We've got armor here. He can't escape. He's stuck here. He'll surrender when we attack. But I'm just not ready just yet. All we have here is tanks, and I don't see him attacking our tanks. But just in case we're bombing him. And then we've got troops coming in right behind. This should be there in a day. All these things that we have moving should be there in a day. What is it? 3 things. And we're building this base up. We repaired the damage, and now we're expanding and making decent speed with a lot of engineers. And I think, I mean, my hope is to get both of these up pretty quickly so we can launch either to Kandari or to Ambon. But I want to get the air base built up. We already have 207 aviation support. I want to get the air base up so we can just really bomb whatever. I mean, really, this can be up to level 9 air base. So we could just have whatever's here in Darwin, we could have based here and just smash anything we feel like. So that'll be nice. And Ambon, and then we can pick either Ambon or Kandari, and we can have let's see. Yeah, P-38's easily covering any of these bases here that we want to take. And I think I am strategically speaking. So I was talking about strategy, and that's some strategy, and all these things I've said recently. Because long term, it really depends. When I take Kandari or Ambon or both, it depends on where it looks like is strikeable after that. But what I was going to say is we're putting him in a quandary by striking up through the underbelly, because he'll have to bring KB here, which would be dangerous for sub interference. But also, once we know where KB is, if it's over here, it gives us free reign over here in the Central Pacific. But if he comes over here, then we're more confident over in the West here. But of course, he could strike down the middle and give himself a little flexibility, but it wouldn't be much flexibility. He'd still have to run back and forth, use up a bunch of fuel. But also, if he's building up this base, we talked about this last time. If he's building up this base, he's wasting a bunch of troops because we're just going to bypass this thing. That's a lot of troops. Imagine trying to take this base. Max stacking is 60,000. If this is to be believed, he's got way too much stuff there. All right. And then this I look at as this I look at this whole area I look at as static. I'm gonna treat it as static to the extent that I'm not gonna try to punch anymore. Because what I need to do first, look at that, 81,000, 65,000. He's really built these up to be impregnable. So really our best bet, and I think he's doing the same thing here, where he's closing this off, so we can't come down this way either. So the problem is like all these avenues are just shut off. So our best bet is to cause him a pain on the supply level. So that's where our advantage is. And what I'm thinking is this. I'm just spitballing here. But what I'm thinking is this. When I have huge numbers of troops that I don't feel like I need to use anywhere else, I'm going to I could send a weak unit. Like I'm thinking ahead too far ahead. All right. Um, but what I'm thinking is any extra troops I could drive into here, into this hex here, and get it into Rangoon, and be in a position where he can't, hopefully we're strong enough he can't drive us out, and he's too strong for us to drive him out. But we sit there and bombard him, make him use tons of supplies trying to repel or counter battery. And the problem I don't like about moving everything in here is he's got so many troops here, he can move here and cut us off. Now we have a lot of troops here, which we could counter cut him off. But if he left, it would just be like this really weird dynamic. So I don't know the solution here, except if I had like an extra 2 divisions, let's say, I leave them here. Um, I just think this is going to be static for a long time, and I'm rambling about nothing because that's basically all it's going to be is just build up, build up, build up, build up, build up. And it may be 44, mid 44 before I can make a push. And that's okay because this being more active is fine with me. And I've got an aircraft on its way. We're almost here to Tuyun, and we'll rail over here, and we'll be in business hopefully shortly. It's all major roads, so maybe we'll get there pretty quickly. And we got heavy AA coming to Changsha. If we could protect this very well, get repair this, but also start damaging his bombers enough to make him stop bombing us here. Maybe get some fighters here and really cap trap this. Then we could. Well, I'll wait till the anti-aircraft is here. We'll cap trap and then we'll beat up his bombers, and maybe we can get some reprieve and then build this up to have more supplies and start basing fighters here again, and maybe have a huge fighter force here to actually control the air here. And then once that happens, once we secure the airfield here and he can't do anything more, then we can start thinking about what our options. But first things first, got to get that aircraft here. Once we get the aircraft here, I'll um, I'll probably implement my strategic thoughts there. And then same with Sion, but Sion is in a worse position in so many ways. But it's, yeah, I mean, the supply situation is worse. It's harder to get supplies up here. and I think well, we could do something similar where we get an aircraft up here and then do enough damage to his bombers to get some air superiority back, but I think that's less likely up there. All right, well, in our infantry are here on the road. Now they're driving down this hopefully quicker road. We can get into some trouble back here. And yeah, I mean, I guess that about does it. It'd be nice if I could bring some Soviets up this road and help, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. Well, I think that about does it. As far as long-term strategy, I don't really have one yet in China. I mean, I even got guys behind the lines here hopefully causing pain. Um, but at least forcing them to burn a little bit more supplies than usual. But maybe little enough that he doesn't notice us and doesn't worry about it. But 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 enough, high enough to cost extra supply transportation, extra logistics resources. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap up here. I really didn't do that great of a strategic, and I'm certainly not talking detail with this unit's gonna move here and this unit's gonna move there on any of these theaters, but I think I gave away enough of the gist. I will say, you saw me do the pair drop maybe anyway at Namatanai. I like the idea of doing stuff like that where I can. So I'll probably get some paratroopers ready, and well, we can't drop them here. Well, maybe I need to recon this and see, because if this is weak, we could pair drop here. But yeah, where I can be opportune, I'll do some things like I did with this sub coming in here and grabbing these bases, things like that. Where I can, I will. But anyway, well, thanks for joining me, and I will see you as we begin June 1. See you next time. Take care. Bye.